Brunei has had economic success thanks to its endowment of natural resources, but it is conscious that it cannot rely on oil and gas forever. That's why it's developed Wawasan Brunei Vision 2035. Let's talk to one of the key figures helping implement that vision, the Second Minister for Finance and Economy and the Chair of the Brunei Economic Development Board, BEDB, Minister Dato Amin. Minister, welcome to the Airport Economist.
Thank you.
So Minister, the economic blueprint, part of the Wawasan 2035, can you tell us about the blueprint and the vision for Brunei?
Yeah, of course, I think you would have heard Brunei has been trying to diversify. As an oil and gas producing country, you see this similar picture in many countries. But for Brunei, when we sort of look at the efforts that we have made over the years, we felt that maybe we need a strategic framework to take us through, especially our vision in 2035 has laid out very clearly that we need to have a very sustainable, diverse, dynamic economy. So how do we achieve that? Then everybody needs to be guided by some framework. Otherwise, we keep talking and people will just keep listening and do not, envision a sort of a framework as to how confident are we in getting there. When we look at the strengths and weaknesses of Brunei, then we believe these 5 sectors that we have identified in our economic blueprint are the really workable sectors. Because it's not just about what you want to achieve on the economic front, but it's about how you prepare your workforce, the education level, so that they are aligned towards these priority sectors.
When you thought about the priority sectors with the vision, how did you choose them?
One of the priority sectors is downstream oil and gas. Now, if you look at the demand of workers in downstream oil and gas, I think you can almost look at your existing engineers in oil and gas sector to move them across in quite similar so-called industry, so to speak, and also similar types of skill. And so you provide familiarization. People are not too worried about moving from one cluster to another. They can still deliver, they can still perform, rather than move to a strange cluster. The other cluster, aquaculture that I mentioned, if you look at this region, Southeast Asia, or even beyond, many countries have overfished in the open sea. It will be a matter of time, the stock in the open sea will run out. And people will have to rely on aquaculture. We are also talking about an industry that the demand is there. The other clusters like services, we still have a lot that we can do domestically. A lot of these services that we previously outsourced to other countries to do can be done here in Brunei. Other than that, the ICT, digitalization, and so on. So ensuring that as we diversify our economy, the world is also moving on. We can't be left behind with technology. For that particular cluster, we believe you need to invest a lot in your infrastructure to facilitate ICT development, and first and foremost, your connectivity within the country. So again, this is an effort that we have undertaken about 5 years ago in terms of the speed of our connectivity. So prior to this project, we ranked quite low globally, even within ASEAN. But today, we are up there at the top of this grouping.
When you think about, digitalisation is going well. You've got the bridge bringing the 2 parts of Brunei together. You're preserving the rainforest and ecotourism. But how do you ensure that economic growth and environmental sustainability sort of go hand in hand? How does that work in your vision?
While we are producing oil and gas, we are preserving our rainforests. And so when we talk about Heart of Borneo, our part of this Heart of Borneo is made up of virgin rainforest. So that is a commitment that we have made, and we continue to preserve them.
You were at the special summit for Australia and ASEAN a couple of weeks ago. What things do you think Australia and Brunei can do together? Brunei is a member of ASEAN and Australia as a friend through free trade agreements and so on.
One thing very clear out of the summit, I mean, again, this was compared to us before. I think the summit reaffirmed Australian government's commitment in ASEAN, and they believe ASEAN is a growth area that will benefit both together. ASEAN itself is 660 million people, and the population in ASEAN are all quite dynamic. You know, these economies here are all very dynamic.
So it's about just over 10 years since I was last in Brunei, and so if we go forward another 10 years, it'll be 2035. So,
Yeah.
so you know, hopefully I'll come before then. But if I was to come then, what do you think would be the Brunei that I'd see or you'd like me to see, and how do you think foreign investors would view that Brunei?
Well, I'm sure you will come more often than every 10 years.
Yeah.
And so you're always welcome to see how we progress. Now, I think Brunei, for these 5 priority sectors, especially for the downstream oil and gas, aquaculture, and services, I think there will be quite a lot of development. Now, ICT will move on its own. You know, people will adapt to technology as they go. Some of the aquaculture activities are using AI and so on. So people will move on with technology. Government will encourage the public to adopt digitalization and so on. And tourism, again, we will need to be part of the ASEAN, if not bigger, part of the circuit. If people go to Thailand, they will come to Brunei and so on. But I think on downstream oil and gas, what we have seen today with the petrochemical plant that we have, with the fertilizer plant that we have, with methanol plant that we have, this will open up a lot of downstream opportunity. Would the Brunei be doing all of this ourselves? No. We need partners. As you are diversifying your economy, you want the world to know that you really mean business. You want to tell the rest of the world that you are up there in your trade policies. So I think that is what I see the Brunei's economic landscape come 2035.
Minister, thanks for being on the Airport Economist.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you.